I used to be the guy who would drop everything for a girl. I would cancel plans, lose sleep, just completely neglect myself, all for girls who weren't half as much invested in me as I was with them. And I did that over and over again until I finally realized it was ruining my life. From my first girlfriend at 14, I became completely hooked. I loved women. I mean, truly, I loved being around girls. I would do anything I could to talk to more girls, to be with more girls, to show other people that I had girls. I loved it. And I let that become my whole identity. I was the guy who got a lot of girls. And I loved it. I loved it when people would call me a player. I loved it even when girls would call me a player, because it showed that they knew I was important. At least in my mind, that's what I thought. I loved the attention from guys. I loved how people would look at me and say, wow, like, you get so many girls. How do you do it? I used to have guys come up to me and ask me all the time, how do you talk to so many girls? And I loved that. For the next few years, every decision I made, everything had to involve girls. I would spend 6 to 8 hours a day on Snapchat just talking to girls. I would cancel plans with my friends to go hang out with girls. If a girl called me, I would drop everything I was doing to speak to them. Even in the middle of the night, I'm answering the phone if someone calls me. If there was ever an opportunity to hang out with someone, I was there. And that opportunity came a lot. I used to hang out with 3 or 4 different girls in one day. And I'm not joking about that. I used to be obsessed with girls. And even though my obsession was taking up a lot of my time and energy, pretty much all of it, I felt like I was getting rewarded for it. I mean, how could I not? I was getting constant attention. I was having the validation, and I was doing something that I really enjoyed. So that's pure rewards, and it was consuming me. And I was okay with it consuming me. But since it was consuming me, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was neglecting myself. Because if something didn't involve girls, I didn't want to do it. That meant that sports was no longer on the table because it took up too much time going to practice. And I want to hang out with girls, so why would I spend hours each day going to practice? And, I'm not going to hang out with my friends who aren't players because I don't want to go to a sausage fest. So slowly, everything except for girls started evaporating out of my life. I would lose friends and I would stop doing things that I enjoyed doing because I was solely focused on getting more and more girls. But truthfully, I was okay with it because I was still the guy that got a lot of girls. And that identity meant a lot to me. And I won't sit here and lie. Here I am, even a few years later. I look back at those memories, and that's some of the best times of my life. I love some of the memories I had. So I'm not going to act like it was a terrible thing. I think getting with a lot of girls when you're young, not only is it awesome, not only is it fun, I think it's actually really important because you learn so much when you get with multiple girls when you're young. Getting with a lot of girls when you're young is awesome and all, but it's who you are when you're stripped of all of that that actually matters. Despite my player ways, I caught feelings for a girl. And since all the other girls were out of the picture now, I slowly became obsessed with just this one. And of course, she played me. And I was devastated. I mean, truly, my heart was broken. I was so focused and in touch with only wanting this one girl in my life. And then it just shot straight through me. I didn't know what to do. And I got to the point where I was constantly checking up on her page. I was constantly waiting and wishing that she would text me. And I was losing sleep. And I realized, man, like, what are you doing? This is not you. You have no self-respect right now. Why are you acting like this? So I decided, let's change it. I decided that my life and my self-worth was more important than any girl. And from that moment, I stopped. I stopped chasing. I stopped performing. I stopped trying to make it my whole personality. And for the first time in years, I turned inward. I started looking within myself and focusing on myself. And in doing that, I quickly learned how much of my self-worth was tied into other people viewing me in a certain way. And so now, without those people, I was forced to create my own self-worth. And I'll be honest, it's been an uphill battle this whole time. I mean, it is very hard to learn to love yourself when the only thing that you found validation and purpose from, you erased from your life. But slowly I found my way. I realized as a man, Your self-worth and your happiness comes from constant improvement, consistently doing things to make yourself better. And I started to do that. I began hitting the gym more. I began reading and studying, learning about myself, getting deep in my thought and truly figuring out what I want in my own life. And that confidence started to come back. I was no longer depending on other people for it. I was starting to build it in myself. Where my mind is now is completely different than where it used to be. I'm not even the same person. I've met people that I haven't seen in a year or two, and they genuinely ask me what has happened. The way I go through my day is totally different. The way I move is different. I used to be so self-conscious. I used to constantly be thinking, are these people looking at me? What are they thinking about me? I used to be so concerned about other people. But now I just live my life. I actually live my life. I do the things that I want to do. I'm no longer focused outside. I'm living for me. I'm not concerned about random people looking at me. I'm not concerned about girls walking by and, oh, do they think that I'm attractive? Could I get with that one? For example, I used to be super concerned about posting videos because I didn't want girls I knew see them and laugh at me for it. And I'll be honest, one time I did post a video like 2-3 years ago, and a girl that I was messing with saw it and started laughing at me. And so obviously that put me off even more from the whole idea, even though it was something that I've really wanted to do. I've wanted to make these videos for a very long time, and thankfully now I'm in a position through all of my experience to be able to make them. But I don't have that restriction anymore. I'm not concerned about how other women who truly should not matter to me view the actions that I'm doing. I'm able to live for myself. I'm able to have my own purpose. But don't get me wrong here. I'm not against women. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and spend time with girls. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing at all. I love women. I mean, truly, I still love women. I love being around them. I love the energy that they give off. But they're no longer my priority. I'm focused on myself. My goals are the only thing that I truly care about. I'm not going to go spend hours of my time entertaining girls who aren't worth it. I don't care about making women like me or behaving in a certain way in public or on Snapchat or whatever to make girls like me. Instead, I'm focused on my goals. I'm focused on my purpose and serving the world. And ironically, carrying yourself like that actually makes you more attractive to women than the way I was acting before. So if you're in a position where I was, where you are constantly thinking about women, constantly spending your hours doing things for women, here's what actually helped me shift out of it. First, you have to build confidence in yourself. When you're dependent on other people liking you, you're never going to have real self-worth. You're not going to have that respect for yourself because you're easily manipulated. You are dependent on outside sources. If somebody doesn't say something nice to you, if somebody says something mean to you, your whole attitude changes. The way that you go about your day completely changes. So if you're dependent on someone else, you will never actually be in control of your life. You've got to decide who you are. You've got to decide the things that you want to do and not let anyone else interject their opinions about it and tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Just live your life for yourself. Build that confidence and that integrity in yourself. And by the way, women are way more attracted to guys who are purpose-driven than guys who are constantly seeking validation of others. The next thing you need to do is audit your life. Shift your focus from trying to get girls to becoming a man that is high value, a man that you want to be. And you're not doing that to attract girls, you're doing it for yourself. Yeah, girls are an added benefit down the road, but you are doing it to live a life that you are truly proud of. So stop making girls your priority. Stop focusing on them. Just start focusing on yourself. Start doing things to make your life better. And if you're really concerned about the girls, in the future you'll get one. And she'll be a lot higher value than the women that you're currently talking to because now you're a better man. So start doing things to become a top tier man. Work on yourself, build your body, read and study, learn a skill that brings you money, and just become interesting and capable. Because when you start valuing yourself, you stop settling for less. And when you stop settling for less, your life ultimately has to get better. So if you're the guy right now who's checking her profile at midnight, if you are constantly waiting for her to text you back, if you are wasting all of your time chasing girls, I'm not judging you. I was there one time. I used to be that guy, and that used to be my only purpose in life. But there's a version of you, a guy who is purpose-driven, a guy who you are truly proud to be, that you haven't met yet. And it's just a decision away. All you have to do is decide to prioritize yourself. Stop focusing on the girls. Stop focusing on finding somebody else to love you and give you that validation, and do the work for yourself. Everything else follows after that. If you want that pretty girl, you can go get her. But first, become a man who is worthy of it.